Well, I occupy because way too many things wrong in the world. I occupy for trees, animals, and people in general. I occupy because I think the world's lost, what do you say, their love for people, and instead love for money, and which is completely pointless to me. And I've never understood it. So I occupy for that. I occupy because there's speciesism. People think that they're better than every other species in the world, which is, I wouldn't say so. And it's not sustainable, however it's going, all this. I occupy for the world, not just the place I'm in right now. Let's say people as humans are supposed to be social creatures. And in cities, big cities, I've seen people live for more than decades right next door in their little cubes that they call apartments and not even know the next person's name. They walk by each other like, ghosts walking around. There's no, how should I say, communal bonding. They're all strangers to each other. That is detrimental to the basic framework of human psychology. The community feel is completely gone. This is what I love Occupy for, because you live together because you are of the same place and you commune, you actually interact, you share ideas, and not just which game is playing or which team is playing what, but actually what's happening to you, what's happening to the world, what are you going through. Support. Like, I don't know, how should I say? Put it in this way, there are so many mental health cases. Why? Because people don't commune, they don't have adequate support. When they do seek for support, they go to psychologists, psychiatrists, and they drug them up, feeding drug companies for money. So it's complete insanity, which I can't cope with. I find a real world inside an occupation where there is community. Well, let's put it in this way. Hopefully, through the whole communal bonding, at least people would learn to know that you're all of the freaking same species. Alright, get along already. You are worth exactly as much as the other person until proved otherwise. And learn to respect that the people you share your world with, not just the people as in humans, but also the animals that dwell here. Respect, which is lacking in the world so much. Well, let's say basic respect for people is not there. Hence, all those people who are cops, this, that, council, they had no relation to any of us. They just think we are just some random strangers that are worth nothing. So they felt completely, fine to kick the living daylights out of each and every one of us. I think I lost a filling on my tooth by a riot shield. It was quite traumatizing in the sense that people don't even respect life anymore. We have this so-called human rights and blah blah. I didn't see that anywhere being enforced that day. It was just free season. It was like as bad as a genocide even. And to my understanding, it's basically because people just don't care about each other anymore. If any of them did, they wouldn't have gone to such lengths to commit such brutality. That was just that's too traumatizing. Personally, I was at the kitchen because I started off there. That's how I fell in love with Occupy, which was beautiful. And we tried to defend it. And we all got dragged out one by one. Like, dragged out. With such force which was completely unnecessary. Then we got all pushed to the streets. And pushed and out of Melbourne slowly. We tried to stand our ground, but we kept pushing and pushing, beating people up, even bystanders. Like, I know, what is his name? Dave. He joined Occupy just because he got beaten up on the street, and he wasn't even a part of it. He was just coming out of a restaurant. This is how bad it gets. They just go blind on their orders and follow it. It's scary. It was very scary. Well, what happened to us on a small scale will happen to everyone. Like, if we don't respect each other, everyone's just gonna end up killing themselves. Probably very soon. Everyone's gonna go insane and kill themselves. And the world won't sustain itself anyway, so either way, doom. Doom. After so many hundreds of years that we have messed ourselves up so bad, it's highly doubtful, but then again, seeing Occupy, everywhere in the world at the same time coming out to do something. Yeah, I think if there's so much will, there is somewhat hope, I guess. Yeah, there is still hope. The council, I don't understand. I asked them this question and they do not answer. It's like whenever I ask them anything, it's like I'm dead, I'm not even there, and I'm trying to scream my heart out, asking them, trying to find a little bit of humanity in them to stop harassing us in the way they did, like taking away our only shelter during a thunderstorm, for Christ's sake, which is freezing cold. They were like blank faces. I'm scared that money can do that to you. Like, can money be that worth it over a human life for a tiny little paycheck at the end of the month? That severely scares me of the priority people have in the world right now. If, especially Occupy movement, if we have done one thing, is expose how bad it actually is under all those sugar-coated layers that the world is perfect, or that Australia is the lucky country. If we haven't exposed enough to everyone yet, I don't know what else you will have to see to actually understand how bad a situation you are in. And if you even have the slightest will to not forget about the world, to even secure your own human rights, then you'd definitely be in this movement. For Christ's sake, people cutting off someone's clothing, parking officers cutting off someone's clothing on the street by the order of the council. Next day, they're gonna come into your houses and with a riot squad and take tampons off you. Now, do you really want that? Is that how this should be? This is like a reenactment of history, and you know which wars I'm talking about. And God forsake anything like that ever happens again. And I think people should just wake up to it. Like, denial, you can be only in denial for like what? Till something happens to you. When that happens to you, no one will be left around you to save you. So, get your asses down here.